at MSI. We will get into the bans, and we are going to see Gwen banned once again by AL. Consistent ban all 3 games from them. Going to take away the Jace from Zeus as well. Yorick going to be banned. That was something they started banning in game 2. And the Poppy is something they banned in the first 2 games, but it's actually going to be AL who banned that Poppy away this time. Vi is something that was talked about in the studio. So I wonder with the Poppy off the cards, maybe if the priority on the Vi goes up a little bit. If they're trying to bait out a Vi ban in this situation.
Yeah, because what else is there? Like, in terms of skirmishing junglers, Xin Zhao, Pantheon, Wukong all taken away, even the Trundle. And with that Yone combination, Sejuani hasn't really been seen 5 bans. So we go down tier list of junglers. For Tarzan, getting him prior here makes a lot of sense, but also, is it just going to be one of those mid lane picks, like seeing early Annie Orcs? We're going to see early Rise for someone like Shanks.
Could do. I mean, the option's there. Maybe with the Jace banned. I mean, Jarvan is open and available. They have to lock that in. So sort of moving down the tier list in terms of those. I feel like Peanut could just go towards a tank jungler.
And can you just go Ezreal here? That's a miss. That's a miss. But Jarvan B1 seems maybe a mistake. A no. Okay. But don't you just pull out, like, don't you have mobile AD carry like an Ezreal or something here would be nice against Jarvan that can just kind of all in and needs mobile carries? I
feel like you could definitely lean into picks where the impact of the Cataclysm is reduced.
Yep.
The Galio going to come through. That partially feels like a little bit of a denial as well, because I feel like Jarvan Galio can be pretty punishing.
You take Ori here with it as well, and then just show that you're going to go Galio top. But
no, I wouldn't blind Galio top. No, definitely not.
Glad I have you here.
Yeah, I mean, pick this up. It'll be interesting to see if they opt to go for a jungle pick here. I do think that I was talking about Peanut potentially going like a tank jungler. I don't think that's going to be the case if you're going to Galio, and it looks like the Lee Sin they hovered is something they're going to commit to. An old favorite, I remember way back in the day when it was SKT Peanut and he broke the kill record at MSI.
Oh, was that the 16 kill game or something?
Something like that.
Been broken since, but it was crazy for a jungler.
Yeah, long time ago. So definitely a classic for Peanut.
That is a throwback.
Jhin. Seeing a lot of Jhin bans in the second rotation, but it looks like Hope looking to prioritize that one. And you've heard the term many times before, shooting a fish in a barrel. This will be shooting oranges in a Cataclysm. A little bit different, but
though I get the
and I think the Jarvan Rise as a combo pretty strong. You know, matching the global pressure that the Galio has, but also, you know, playing into 2 melee champions already, 2 short range champions. You can really stack up the flux quite easily in these team fights.
And as you said, you don't want to pull this Galio up blind. Feels like it's going to be mid for now. There's that Ezreal against the Jarvan, so there is a bit of mobility added into HLE's comp against this said pick. Yeah,
not a huge surprise for Viper specifically, and also just into the Jarvan.
It's great Ezreal, yeah.
So, you know, both teams prioritizing those AD carries early. In top lane, not coming through yet. I do feel like we've had a lot of the, you know, we've had some of the higher prior top laners off the cards and banned. It does put us in a situation where, you know, HLE have some choices. You could go for like a high prior pick on 4, and then go counter pick either support or top lane. What I imagine is whichever engage support is left available could end up coming out on 4 for HLE, and then they go counter pick for Zeus on that last pick.
Yeah.
And honestly, there could be a lot of options. I mean, with the Ezreal, you could even see Delight bring out like the Bard. You know, into Jhin, you can cancel the ult. It's something he has brought out as a ranged option. You're into a mobile carry, so it's a lot of value. I mean, heck, even defensively, you could throw it down on a Cataclysm, although I don't think that's really a great use case for it.
True.
We'll see, although I think Bard Blind might be a little bit optimistic. And there are still quite a few engaged options available in like Nautilus and Leona.
Well, that's one taken away.
Do you take away that one?
I think they're fishing maybe for Leona. I mean, look, Karma against Jarvan, do you think that's also an option for HLE for the 2v2?
I
with this Ezreal,
would not pick Karma. Definitely not blind, and also into Jarvan, because the thing is you have the Ezreal, and Karma I feel like can be quite a vulnerable target. They can just look to focus, but it really depends on the bot lane matchup.
Yeah, it feels like Rakan would have been a nice follow-up here, but unfortunately it's taken away.
Rakan would be so good here, but yeah, it's banned. So I like the Camille ban though. Honestly, Camille would have been huge for Zeus, and also pairing with the Galio. I think that's one that was a heads-up ban away from AL. So we'll see if they opt to go for the support pick here on 4. I mean, there isn't anything that like really screams out to me that you need to grab it now.
But Leona, you said
I mean, they opt to go for Leona. That is like the last remaining engaged support. It looks like they want counter pick for.
And this is Kael's best champ. Kael's Leona this year has been sensational. His best champion by far, I think. So it's also a nice little takeaway from the support of AL.
Yeah, and we'll see what they opt to run into it. Braum is off the cards as like a typical response. Don't like the Blitzcrank in Ezreal. Don't really like the Bard here that much. It's hard, you know, people have gone mobile options because of the Jarvan, and I think Bard, the ult value is reduced into mobile options as well. But they opt to go for it, they lock it in. Can see what he can do on the map though. Bard is obviously something that if you can get a lot of value depending on the skill of the player, and if you can roam around, make an impact, you can definitely take off. Does have that range advantage as well into Leona. Now the top lane pick that is going to be blind for Andre. We have seen a lot of them banned away already, and it looks like he's just going to go for the Cassante. And I will say, you know, a lot of people expect Zeus. We've seen so many historically counter picks from him in a lot of eras where he is like that counter pick player who has lent into that. We haven't seen that as much recently in the regular season of the LCK and even into Road to MSI. Will we get it here?
Oh my God.
Will he bring out some old favorites? Will he say, hey, you're going to pick Cassante into me, I'm going to punish that? He has a supporter for Galio who can lean towards the top side.
Oh my God, please. What? Oh my God. Okay, Orcs, is this Kindred top? It's not Lee Sin top, is it? It's Kindred top, isn't it? Or is it...
Why are you asking? We ain't seen this.
Or
you know, this is brand
mid?
new. I think it might be Lee Sin top.
It's your
Kindred
team. I want to know what he's cooking.
Lee Sin top? Kindred jungle? I think it might be.
Right. Because we used to have, in LPL, we used to have a Kindred AD carry player and someone who would, in solo queue was playing a lot of Kindred top. So that was ages ago. That was like 3-4 years ago.
No, there's just a lot of trust, but
This
you know,
is a huge amount of trust.
into the Cataclysm, you know, the Kindred has mobility. You also, the ult counteracts it quite effectively. But even the Lee Sin into the Cassante in the top lane, you know, if he does end up going for the all-out, you have the execute damage on the Q.
Yeah.
This is some cooking, you know. I feel like the composition that came out from AL, pretty standard, nothing too crazy. HLE went a little bit off the rails on the back end with that flex, and we'll see what they can do. A lot of confidence being put in Peanut. If I'm just going to be strictly honest, he's been gapped by Tarzan so far this series. He needs to pull out a strong performance on this Kindred because we have seen many times before how feast or famine this pick can be. If you fall behind, you're not going to have an impact in this game.
Well, it's a Game 3 draft. It's like when your back's up or against the wall. For HLE, this is what they went to. Did they overcook? Did you decide yes or no? What do you think?
Ask me after the game.
You're a results-based Andy. Well, to be fair, seeing at least in top versus the Cassante, I'm very curious as to how this matchup's going to go.
I think AL's comp is pretty solid.
I mean, it's more standard for sure.
But it's not infallible. You know, I think the Ezreal pick was pretty heads up.
Yeah, the Jarvan B1, do you like that? You know, the blind Jarvan before the comp?
Not fully convinced by it, but also like Kindred is such a feast of famine, and like it does well into things like the Jarvan.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You know, Kindred Peanut has to have a great performance on this Kindred. We'll have to see what he can do.
As well as Zeus and that Lee Sin top versus the Cassante. HLE, have they overcooked is the question of this game number 3, this final game of the series. Our quarterfinals have just begun, but one team is going home. After this, is it HLE or anyone's legend?
Just needed that bit of spice in the end.
We did. If HLE are going out, they go out with a bang. If they take out anyone's legend, they take him out with a bang. Either way.
You know, I wouldn't have put it past Zeus to bring out Kindred top. I really wouldn't have.
Yeah. Well, that Shield of Daybreak is charged up, but the Light doesn't actually get the auto attack to lock down KL as he backs off, and HLE look for deep vision here after Hope is just spotted out.
They'd actually end up going for it. I think Aware would have just been cleared out pretty quickly if they did.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fake that they put a ward in that brush there. But early information is so important. You know, we always talk about Kindred and the stacks. 4 stacks is when you get that first range upgrade, and then it's every 3 after that. But that first 4 is like the biggest spike. And it's kind of like, you know, when you have Kayn in the transformation, it's not quite the same, but it's like you're half a champion before you get that first range upgrade. Like after that, more stacks is obviously nice, but really we've seen games where Kindred's never hit those 4 stacks, and it feels, you're just an ult bot. You feel so underwhelming. So tracking those early on, seeing what Peanut can do, seeing if he gets lucky around those first spawns is going to be a big factor.
Well, I'm excited because for Peanut, as you said, it's been a rough series outside of a couple of steals and some cool team fighting moments last game, like the interrupt and the Shanks ulti as Akali. That was about it. I'm curious about top lane matchup. This is one that, like, you know, Finn would obviously probably know because Finn plays some wacky stuff.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had too much Lee Sin top. You know, Rascal was known for it in the LCK. There was a period where they were playing it a lot. I remember Cabashard was playing it a lot in the LEC a while back. There was a period where they buffed his Tempest a lot and people were maxing E and it was really good.
Wave clear.
Yeah, but obviously that's not how it is right now.
True.
I assume the matchup into the Xante, you're going to have some early pressure. And then, like, after 6, if he does go for the all-in, you can kind of just burst him with kick and the execute because he has that lower threshold health. But we will see. Obviously, a lot of early power from the Lee Sin. Kind of why he's picked in the jungle.
True. Sonic Wave taken there. And you can see already Zeus in a good position. Just punch from Zeus, or rather Zeka. As Shanks, well, flashes forward. Thinks he has kill threat, but he does not. Maybe overcooking a bit there with Shanks.
Yeah, and Zeka's going to feel good about that. And honestly, if I was Peanut right now, I would be...
hit mid.
I'd be maybe switching my mark onto a certain someone.
Yeah.
You know, flashless Rise, when you have a Galio with flash, to me that is such a signal of a free kill to be set up later on. And Shanks feeling himself, but doesn't quite calculate the damage perfectly there.
Probably like, you know, an extra Q off with Overload on top.
Yeah.
With our Spell Flux on top, I should say, sorry.
I think it's always harder to judge with Galio because he has like the damage reduction on his W that lasts a bit longer after the shield as well, and you know, the resolve defensive runes.
Lucky. Is this Peanut's first mark? It is. He high rolled. Oh, here we go. I mean, for any Kindred player, they know they're like, it's a 50-50. What side of the map am I clearing for?
Yeah.
And he got it. And Tarzan and Pinks are coming down and probably like, oh.
You know, personally, I think they should make it so like the first Scuttle Crab always gives a mark. Like once you take one, like either Scuttle Crab gives a mark, and once you take one, the other one loses the mark, and it's no longer a coin flip. And balance him around that, because I feel like the 50-50 is just so silly.
It is.
It's so
but if it was, so you're saying the first scuttle no matter what, so if one's taken, then the mark's just diffused, it's done.
No, so like if you go top and the enemy jungler goes bot, no matter what, you just you always get a mark of that first scuttle you take.
Oh, okay, first scuttle you take. I was going to say, is Peanut makes his gank known into Kael. Magical Journey taken, Delight's on top, but Peanut's going to follow up, mounting Dread. And Peanut clears for a second kill, or rather, I thought it was going to be a second mark. Flash away from Delight. He gets out, but Peanut has to flash as well. That wasn't actually a mark. Peanut had marked Tarzan previously.
Yeah, double sums, unfortunately had marked Tarzan. It's a typical, I feel, for Kindred just to mark the enemy jungler. Hadn't switched it at that point.
It's also a bit obvious if you switch it just before the gank as well.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? So,
oh, I wonder what that is.
I wonder where Kindred is.
Subtle, real subtle, mate. Yeah, I mean, still a kill on a Kindred, even if it isn't that extra mark, you'll absolutely take it. So, positive moves there. And we do see the swap coming through. This lands that.
And Hope is tagged out, low on mana as well with Safeguard and Iron Will. Zeus just pops him for a bit of attack speed, and Hope in a bit of trouble. The good thing in the lane swap is he can just...
Zeus just got his ult, right? And genuinely, if he had his ult there, might have been able to kill, because I think a little bit longer, the ult to suspend him, and then a second Q, maybe. Yeah. Dangerous game played by Hope there. We'll see the play here. This is the thing with Leona into Bard is that, you know, you're quite a bulky target, right? Bard, it has a really big hitbox, and that Zenith Blade quite easy to hit. So L walks up, does get punished. Now Peanut moving on to the Dragon.
Yeah, now on this Drake as well. A bit of a success story so far as his Kindred. I mean, an early kill too.
Yeah, I mean, still a slow start in terms of marks, but getting killed, getting objectives.
Getting one mark is better than none.
That is true.
You know?
Glass half full guy, I see you are, Jake.
I am indeed. You know, top mark is Scuttle for the time being. Peanut is beelining towards it, but Tarzan's going to take it out before he gets there. This 2v2 might escalate in a minute 30 because grubs are up. And Peanut already with a Phage longsword. Bit of an advantage here over Tarzan in the early game.
Yeah, definitely the start. And the thing is as well is that even if you don't have the marks from that kill, like the extra gold is going to make getting marks easier.
Yeah.
And push in that direction. Always here though, Tarzan does have that level 6, that Cataclysm. And you know, you have targets without flash. You can potentially look for, particularly Delight level 4 with DP Ignite currently. I will say Shanks, flash coming up soon. I would have liked to see more of a proactive effort to punish that, you know? I feel like in a mobile pick like a Rise, Burns Flash, and you have a Galio into it. I don't know. I think that's the sort of thing that you should punish, you should look to capitalize on. I feel like we saw a game earlier today where the flash was banned proactively and it was actually turned around quite effectively, and there was just repeated ganks to make things happen. Yeah,
mobile mage with no flash feels very easy to do so. But you're right, Peanut doesn't get anything in the end, and that flash is about to come back up. So at 7.5 minutes in the game, this is that 1 kill towards bot. It's still Peanut with a bit of a lead. It's still an early game that you can be proud of here. Next mark, though, just going to have to track it out as grubs are spawning in 10 seconds. Tarzan is clearing up. Peanut is now level 6 as well. So both junglers have that to the table. And we're just going to have to see, because both bot lanes are still top here. And Zayas doesn't have TP available. Flandre, he does not either. So it could just be a 4v4.
Peanut not looking towards the top side, maybe the grubs.
Timing will be rough here. Flag down
TP
first.
is just going to be from Leona. No TP for top laners currently, but they are trying to make something happen off this. Trying to get the Galio to move in.
Dwight does not have ulti available. Kael does. Tempered Fate, the advantage. Misses, though. So now that's down. Tried to use it with T1's own skin, but fails there as the flag and drags in. Tarzan and fighting Saga with Deadly Flourish onto Peanut, who still has his ulti available. There you go. Ulti for ulti, the Cataclysm in the shiny dome, but the Galio ult is going to save Grace as Zeka comes in. Tarzan gets out with a brisk of health. Flag and drags over the wall. He has no way out. He's on the wrong side of the rift, and Peanut gets another mark. Meanwhile, HLE are fending off the rest of the fighters. AL will not come out of this one without the grubs, or rather, with the grubs but no kill.
And I think Peanut so happy that Tarzan just flag and dragged over the wall to deliver the kill to him, deliver the mark. You know, it was actually the ult from Viper that secured it, but mark goes in favor. And it is grub advantage towards AL. We also saw Zayas move up towards the top side, so a little bit of a lone time for Flandre, but I think HLE happy with the outcome overall.
And Peanut is in a great spot. Orcs SD2.
2 out of 4.
I see 2 out of 4, yeah. Won't be able to get that third mark that's on the left side of your screen there.
Who's he going to mark next?
I don't know.
Who would you put on?
Who would I put a mark on? Oh, I'd put it on Shanks. He just lost his flash again.
You know what?
Let's do that.
That is a great call. That's what I'd do too.
Okay.
We see the commit here, but it's kind of difficult because he has the ultimate. This is kind of why the Kindred's been picked in the job and ends up having to flash out. And I think Zeka did a great job of disrupting and keeping the rest of the team busy, as did Delight. And then here, I think Tarzan, you should have just given the kill over to Zayas. Because by that point, Peanut hadn't actually hit him for a while.
True.
I don't think he would have got the mark credit, so I think you should have just given it to Zayas, denied the mark. In the end.
Wait, Shanks, no, remember, no flash available, flash in, Zeka doesn't connect, but shielded around. Shanks going to stand there with the full taunt duration. Unfortunately, Peanut does not have it set over to Shanks, but it's a kill regardless.
If he'd listened to you, he'd have 3 marks.
He would have 3 marks. Yo, 3 marks, better than 2.
Yeah, well, still a good kill, but...
People, 1 is enough. 1 mark is enough.
Yeah, taking advantage, though, of that lack of flash on the Rise. Zeka, a little bit of a miss with that initial flash.
At least he tried, you know.
He unfortunately didn't have to try too hard to be able to secure that kill.
You're going to fight bot now, though.
Oh, it's like very aggressive. TP coming in.
Zenith Blade, Solar Flare, True Shot Barrage. There's the damage down. Kael's going to get Magical Journey, though. Nicely done. Zeka does commit the TP. That means Shanks is going to be alone and isolated for top lane. He's going to get the push in. Well, that dragon spawns in 3 seconds. HLE will have numbers advantage.
Yeah, good Magical Journey to get them out, but at the end of the day, you still leave the area, you still sacrifice the objective. And second dragon for HLE, it's already been an Ocean Dragon and a Cloud. We could end up getting a high-value soul here. HLE would feel really good about.
Hold. High value. Oh, it's Infernal.
Infernal feels so good, especially with like an Ezreal, a Lee Sin.
Lee Sin, yeah.
And the thing is as well, when you're playing into a Kindred as well, you know, you have that extra element of making it so tricky to smite objectives. Because you go in with a smite and he pops the ultimate, you waste your smite and then he waits for it to end before securing it. Adds an extra element of chaos when we already have 4 potential smites in this game.
Classic. Just until spellbook shenanigans, isn't it? There's Trinity Force now picked up for Peanut. This is going on. Actually, interrupt was nice from Flandre. Zeka not in trouble. It's just Grasp of the Undying to be farmed. And I was going to say, where the items for AL, they're still a little bit behind in this game, about 1,000 to be precise, at 12 and a bit minutes. Nothing's up, so this item advantage not going to be abused yet, but HLE are definitely strong right now as we've got Thunder Sky for Zeus as well. This Lee Sin has just been farming it out in the lane, waiting for the skirmishes to come through as Kyle just caught out, but he's going to magical journey over the wall.
Yeah, hard really to pin down some of these targets. I feel like if Kale's playing it right with the magical journey, can kind of disengage before the CC's layered, and you know, Jarvan also a hard target to pin down, so not finding too many picks. Although we see the like constantly sort of looking right now. Viper does just pick up the Triforce. I feel like another situation where, you know, the Jhin, 3 items, I think, really big spike for him. I mean, the 1 item spike is nice, the Ghostblade, but 3 items is a really big one. We have to see like Ghostblade wrapped by IE. But the 2 item for the Ezreal will be a really big breaking point for HLE to play around. Because as this game gets later, a Ryze and Jhin will be a little bit hard to deal with.
They will indeed. No true tank in your team. The Leonos, that's it. As Dragon, we're far away, but we're just fighting around this area anyway. Delight instant flash away into the Zenith Blade. Tempered Fate doesn't connect, and Peanut is now hitting again, setting up for another mark. The ulti out immediately from Peanut. The Lamb's Respite going to be down just to heal up Delight as Curtain Call is lining down, but Zeka's in the way. Really good blocking. He gets Deadly Flourish after the fact, and there is no kill in the end. Kyle gets out and stops Peanut from moving to number 3.
Yep, I think AL stayed exactly as long as they wanted in that fight, and then immediately disengaged after the ult came through from Peanut.
Yeah.
A lot of poking and prodding for these two teams. You know, this is last game before one of them will go out of this tournament. And you can feel the tension between them, but they're still trying to find advantages, find these windows. Not for lack of trying. They've only had 3 kills in this game of 14 minutes, but both of them respecting their opposition.
All out might be used here. Flandre is getting maximum trading onto Zeus, but then again, Zeus doesn't really mind. They both are okay. Zeus actually has to kick away, even with his healing. He's worried about that further engage as Flandre, the only one up, by the way, in gold, after the laning phase is all said and done at the 14-minute mark. Yeah,
at least they're not really cutting through the Sante so well, it seems. And also the Bramble Vest kind of limiting a lot of that sustain coming through.
Who knew?
For Zeus. So
it's not the usual counter matchup.
It's not the Garen, you know.
It's not the Garen. It's not, I guess people say Renekton still is one of the good matchups. It's not the Vayne top that we almost got. So, Orcs.
Yep.
Does the Lee Sin top, do we expect big engagements to happen? Like, is Herald going to be a big fight now here with it, with the TP? What do you think?
I mean, if you find an angle, you can go for it, you know. A kick onto Shanks, I hope, would be huge, but they don't really have vision. They don't have great TP wards, and it's going down so quick.
In comes Zeus, or Zeka, excuse me. Zeus no busy in the meantime in a side lane. Herald's just down. They're slowly losing the turret, but there's only one grub for HLE. It's not going down quick enough, and with teleport from Flandre to match, HLE don't get anything for the trade.
Yeah, bit of damage in the tower is all, so I think AL go for the rush on the Herald and get a reward for it. Peanut's still sitting on 2 marks, hasn't really found a way to push in and take any camps away with the marks, and also he's had that mark on Kyle for a while, and he's kind of played very defensively. I don't think really because of the mark, but just because generally dying in League of Legends is something you want to avoid.
It is, actually. That's good play. Sometimes there's good deaths, but most of the time we're not having good deaths, you know, like we were talking about it yesterday, right? My deaths, I try to be like him, but like I'm 0-5 on 1 and 5, and it's just no one on my team is saying that was a good death. They're saying,
the positive
they're
reinforcement.
saying other things to me. I'm getting negative reinforcement from my team, and I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but, you know, we can't all have supportive team members, can we?
No.
One day.
You need your team just to back you up.
Yeah, where's the love?
Good death, bro. You definitely needed to die there.
Hey,
solid.
where are my platinum emerald teammates to support me?
Okay, set up for Dragon now. You see Zeus at a bit of a flank angle. TP coming in from Zeka.
Okay, Zeka with ultis well, Solar Flare. Instant flash from Shanks. Look towards the front line. Flandre has disengaged from the rest of the team. Tempered Fate, a three-man while Delight is dying. It sets up time for AL. Zeus jumps in though with an instant burst and snap onto Shanks while KL flashes away. It's weird from AL. They're separated and torn apart. A flip back from Flandre, good again, but AL just can't get any kills. The damage onto Zeka. Isolated is good, but in the all-out and the curtain call, they need to start finding some bodies to hit the floor. Peanut with the Lambs to Spite, buying time again. Deadly Flourish, he disengages, he runs back. He's getting the DPS down, but AL have stood their ground. Hope with the last, Peanut the only one alive. And they methodically pulled apart the fight there from anyone's legend.
Such a broken up fight, but really Flandre and Hope got so much value there. Felt like HLE weren't able to find the right target. Now look
out.
more. Or is he?
Played in. Yeah, Tarzan maybe too far forward. Peanut just wants a kill in response, but out of range. He jumps back in. Kale takes a journey. Hope is close to dying as well. Delight's going to do it for him, but Kyle's too fast away, and he's got the cinders on the ground, so Peanut will not catch a break. Or will he catch death? I'm not sure. He's not going to go too far forward because that Shank's in the way.
Isn't Kindred the representation of death?
Yeah, but she can die too, right? Like one day, you know. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Anyway, so the fight. So something significant here. The light starts to engage up on a Shanks who burns the flash. So Zeus is immediately like, right, no flash on Rise. I want Rise. The Tempered Fate buys time here though, so it keeps Shanks alive a lot longer than otherwise he would have. And actually means you have to commit more. And all this meantime, Hope and Flandre just pumping damage out. Yes, Hope gets engaged on. But then Flandre gets this great angle here onto Zeka, drags him out of the fight, removes an element. Hope got enough distance to pop this ultimate, and Peanut's having to block shots and pop the ult to keep them alive. And then Hope can walk up here. Everyone's come together. The bouncing grenade value is massive. I believe that's what actually finishes off Viper here, yeah.
Wow. Oh my lord. Yeah, Tabe is screaming.
As he should be. That was a great fight.
That was an insanely methodical fight, pulled apart. As you said, Flandre, 5k damage. We're at 18 minutes in that fight. And Cassandre did almost 5,000 damage. That's how long he was staying engaged for.
I thought Cassandre got nerfed. What happened?
Little do we know, he does true damage now.
Why is he back? You know?
He just always finds a way, doesn't he?
He's resilient.
He just keeps coming back.
Guys, maybe Lee Sin top isn't the counter to Cassandre.
Maybe the Lee Sin top is indeed not an option. Well, so far, I don't think Zeus has done much.
I mean, he did get that kick on a Shanks.
He got the kill on a Shanks. That was a nice kick.
Yeah.
But then they're also lacking a lot of damage in that fight, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Peanut's still on 2 stacks. And as I said before, without that 4 stacks, you feel so much weaker. Just a lack of range. And particularly intra composition where being short range into Cassandre, Jarvan, and Rise isn't fun.
It's not a good thing, no.
No, it's not good. Viper also not quite at that significant spike, the 2-item spike we always talk about with Ezreal's.
Deadly Flourish. It did connect. I saw Hope just take a chunk from True Shot Barrage.
AL are posturing around Alakan, but
this has been a semi-throw this series. Alakan has not been...
50% of the time it's...
50% of the time it's the correct decision.
But maybe AL are just standing around it so that HLE started up.
Also, they know they're jealous. Like a baby with a rattle, and they're like, oh, I want that.
I mean, Peanut attacked it. It's a compulsion. You can't help it.
Alakan is so dangerous. And they just go back to it. HLE are backing off, rather. So, for AL now, they just control vision. Maybe wait towards the next dragon. Minute 30 to the start of that Infernal.
I mean, that's the thing. When the Alakan is next to the dragon, you're in a position where you just control the vision in the area. And even if you don't do the Alakan, you have it set up for the dragon in the future. Now, they are looking for this bot lane tower.
Flag is down. There's a ghost that's just popped as well.
I mean,
Hope is getting the push.
It's a Kindred, so it's hard to really dive with the ultimate. But they have cleared out the vision. Delight gets a ward over the wall.
Peanut on vision, though. On vision, he clears it out, but he's caught out. He's tempered fate. He has to kite it out, and Kyle doesn't find him. In the end, the curtain call is lighting down once again, and the fourth shot into Delight. Half HP for the support as AL are looking to take the turret with the back end of the chunk.
Yeah, a bit of poke coming through. I mean, Peanut does have a bit of sustain in the kit on the passive, but not really any options to get.
Lee Sin meanwhile, by the way. The realm of. Kyle flashes forward. The Cosmic Binding was fantastic. The Cataclysm is a three-man. HLE are stuck inside. Now Flandre comes in with the Galio ulti being layered down. Zeus and Zeka are heading back in, but Peanut, he's dropped his ult in the nick of time, but AL are all inside. It saves them more. AL still alive, and Flandre just cannot die. The Winds of War out of range. And the Soul Laners, while they saved the back of the fight, it looks like in the end, AL stands stronger.
Such a messy fight, and so many members of AL were caught. Doesn't find it.
Good sidestep upwards.
So many members of AL were caught in the AoE from Zeka, but a bit too tanky, and Flandre in particular is so hard to deal with right now. Able to cut through. We do see Dragons spawning up now. Peanut's still down, but members of HLE are moving back onto the map. AL rushing over as well. We'll see who's able to set up in time. Tarzan is going to be there first.
Round two.
But Peanut is heading over, but not towards the bot side of the map.
Where's he going? His mark is not up there. He wants red buff.
Yeah, perhaps confident that they're not going to immediately start it up.
I think he's right, though, because they got vision on it. And Tarzan's taking his time to get there. He actually took Raptors in the meantime. That ward stays there. Flag's down. They now know Tarzan's on it. Okay. Red buff being pulled. And it's not a global red buff yet. It is just a singular one with a sharing element. But
I think the decision, the call has been made. We're not fighting Dragon.
Yeah, they're leaving it.
We're missing a lot of key... missing a lot of key abilities. And he's clearing through some camps, but wants to be around in time for Arakan if they get started up. The fights have been chaotic. I think Flandre, a bit of a main character in this game right now.
Boy, Peanut gets his own blue buff. You're right, Flandre is definitely... He's like Saitama at this point. His punches do a lot. It just depends how much he holds back. Shielded around, but unstoppable. Flandre gets taunted in the end. Tempered fate for Grob and for Zeus, or rather Zeka. The all-in, though, the kick, but it's away. It's a disengage to Hope. He'll live and saved away by the Galio ulti. Flandre in the middle, finally going to die. Is he finally going to die?
He's still alive!
Out, keeps him alive, and so does the Lamb's Respite. AL's top laner just keeps thriving. Delight somehow in the backside, and the Lee Sin top didn't work, but nothing that HLE send is working at this point.
Flandre still alive through all that. The focus comes through, but they're just not able to cut through him. And now Arakan picked up by AL. Big lead opened up. The extra stats, the extra XP going to come through, and it feels like this brick wall in the top lane. Too much of an issue for HLE to deal with. Not even sure they're going to be able to get this tower in the mid lane. TP will deny it. And once again, would you believe, it's Flandre there.
It is Flandre.
He's a superstar this game.
He is, but all three games, I feel like Flandre's impact has been grand. You know?
I mean, I feel like Tarzan was such a big factor in the previous one.
He was, but...
I mean, I don't think Flandre hasn't been, but I think this one has just been, he is by far been the main character. And so Zeus tries to find an angle here. Initially, a lot of focus is put onto Zeka to get him with a Tempered Fate. Flandre gets the flick back, but then, the kick attempt comes in, but it's a great flash from Hope. But look, they try and focus down the Cassante, and he just doesn't die. And eventually, they have to commit the defensive ult. And it just ends up, saving Flandre as well. But I think if they didn't ult, they would have just all died immediately. But, doomed if you do, doomed if you don't.
I don't know what we're looking at. It was like he flashed and then did the Charleston slide or something and altered mid-flash. And so Flandre went left, then right. It was the cha-cha slide. Let's call it what it is. And yeah, the damage across the board.
Look
obviously,
at Viper's damage.
Viper's doing a lot on
How
Ezreal.
are you doing 5.2k damage and he's still not dying? This champion's not balanced. Guys, Niv, where's Showmaker when you need him to shout out Niv Cassante?
Oh my god, we've got another one brewing surely.
We need to copy faster back.
It's rough. I feel like HLE, they threw this draft up and said, hey, let's throw a spanner in the works. Call it what you will. The Lee Sin R5 pick. Sorry, it was Kindred R5. We saw the Lee Sin earlier on, obviously. It turned to be a flex. Yeah. But I don't know how much work it's doing. Peanut's caught out back of the pit. Lamb's Respite up and available. Curtain call. He's just not going to press it. He knows it's doomed. And the shots from Hope are going to get the kill and help with the Baron here. No smite available except for Delight's. Delight, if he gets a Miracle Steal here, he's the hero of career right now. But with the Tempered Fate, look, Flandre waits. Deadly Flush, not time. But the CC chain, the Cataclysm. AL turn for the fight instead of Baron. And they make it a sure thing. No steal in sight.
AL don't give any opportunities over. And this two-shot barrage a little bit early, unfortunately. We'll just do a bit of poke damage, but rough game right now for Peanut. Tries to find an angle over the wall to clear some vision out, I think, and unfortunately just gets trapped there. AL being ruthless with the control, and Peanut still struggling to find that 4 stack. And you know what? I talked about earlier, those games where you just never get the 4 stacks. I think this might be one of them.
I think this might be one of them. The fact he even got the 3, I don't know how that happened. Must have been from an assist in the last fight, but it's definitely not coming from any camps because they're gone.
Look, I think sometimes when you have a big goal, it can be a bit overwhelming and seem a bit impossible. So you break it down into smaller goals, right? I think the goal right now is let's get Peanut to 4 stacks for HLE. Let's focus on that.
That seems like a small goal, but I'm not sure if that's small enough.
Let's not worry about winning the game right now. Let's focus on that because AL, they have a small goal of winning the game. That seems very doable for them.
Yeah.
Especially given how that play went. But for HLE, 4 stacks. That's all we're looking at right now. If you can do that, then we'll talk about the next step.
Okay. Well, I want to give highlights. Tarzan again, 100% KP. Kale's Bard has actually been really clean.
Yeah, a lot of impact.
And they stole the Leona for this. The Shank's going to be cleansed away, but look at the damage he's got. Magi's. Kale sent him in Magical Journey, and again, Tempered Fate safeguards him, while Delight wants to safeguard Zeka, but he ain't doing anything. Tarzan jumps into the fray while Peanut and Delight get out with a slimmer of HP, and Flandre is here again. Raid Boss returns, flip of the wrist, and an easy kill. Peanut, Lamb's Respite, but the patience from Hope. 4-shot damage. Viper is going to be joined in by a Team Realm Warp. They bring minions as well. AL are behind enemy lines, and Viper slowed down to buggery. Won't get a chance. Has to flash away. AL moments away from knocking out HLE just as they've arrived.
And AL making such a convincing case. The game that HLE won was such a struggle, but the 2 games Anyone's Legend are taking, as they're on the cusp of finishing this one, have been very convincing. HLE with a last-ditch defense to keep the hopes alive.
Peanut getting away. I think you're right, Orcs. I don't see a 4 stack inside. I see a 29, 30-minute win. Delight sent packing. Flandre doing it for him. This top lane is smurfing, and so is Kyle. Time stands still, but only for Anyone's Legend as they take apart the puzzle that is the base of Hummer Life Esports. They arrived, but soon they will depart. Quarterfinals done and dusted, and Anyone's Legend move on to the semis.
Huge win for them, you know. They were on the receiving end of 2 series losses to LCK teams at MSI, and they get to hand one over to HLE, the team who won first stand. Obviously, a really stacked roster, but not able to match up to this team on the day. And I think a lot of great performances across the board. Tarzan had a massive performance in the jungle, but Flandre in that final game in the Cassante, an absolute monster, going up against Zeus. Of all players.
There's a reason that this team drove T1 to 5 games at MSI. There's a reason that they came so close. I mean, it's an exciting roster. It's actually, I think, one of LPL's most exciting rosters since the EDG Worlds win that Viper was on the roster for. That since IG, since the days of, you know, Doomby's FPX, like, yeah, sure, a little bit gung-ho, maybe we're not there yet, maybe it takes into Worlds, but semi-finals at EWC is a good statement, especially when, again, they came so close to getting into that finals at MSI, then who knows?
Yeah, and we've got to see how far they can go in the tournament.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Tarzan is standing by, Ian on stage, another key crush, and this time it's going to be Hummer Lives.
I am indeed standing by with Tarzan. This is your Amazon winners interview. AGAL make it into the semi-finals. We'll talk about who they could be facing off against a little bit later on. HLE are out of the tournament here. Tarzan, you started this series so strong in game 1. Game 2, it looked like you could have closed things out, but then they steal your Baron, the momentum shifts. Going into Game 3, how did you approach it?
首先恭喜你们赢下今天的比赛，然后进入到了半决赛。在第一局的时候，我们看到其实你们是非常平稳的度过了第一局，然后在第二局的时候，感觉好像可以赢下比赛的同时被偷到了大龙，然后你当时是怎么决策的呢？
就第二把的话，其实也前面也很优的，但是我们就有一些失误了吧，然后我们偷大龙内部也是，就我们就尝试吧，但是我们就尝试有点失败了吧。
I think that we did make some errors during the second stage. During the Baron got steal stage, we did try a bit during that phase, but in the end it failed.
And then you brought it back to close out the series in Game 3, of course. Third place finish at MSI. Do you think that you can finish higher than that here at EWC, and why?
在 MSI 的时候，你们拿到了第3名，那你觉得本次 EWC 你们可不可以拿到一个更高的名次？
肯定有机会吧，就我们后面比赛也很有机会吧。
I do think that we have a very good shot at getting a higher place at the EWC.
Now, you can either face off against MKOI or T1 in the semi-final. I have a feeling that you might want to face off against T1 to get revenge for them knocking you out of MSI.
你们在半决赛中将会遇到 MKOI 或者是 T1， 我相信你肯定是非常想遇到 T1 的。那你觉得就是想不想遇到他们呢？感受是怎么样？
感觉 T1 会上来吧，然后我们这次如果打到 T1 也是比我上嘛，所以感觉更有机会吧，比 MSI。
I believe that T1 will get the shot against MKOI, and I do think that we have a great chance against T1 in the best of 3.
Well, that is yet to be seen, but what is guaranteed right now is a key crush. Would you like to crush a key right now?
你可以现在自己去亲自压碎他们的钥匙了，你想不想做这件事情？
我去吗？是我要去的吗？或者不知道，感觉不知道。
He was very shocked actually. He said, "Oh, am I doing it?
Yeah, you are.
You're doing it."
Are you ready?
准备好了吗？
Okay, come with me. It can be hard. If you are not a cruel competitor, it's not always an enjoyable experience, but this is something Tarzan is going to do right now. It was their first loss at EWC. It was their first loss, and it was a devastating one. It's time to say goodbye to HLE.
With the first best of 3 done and dusted, I have Zeus from HLE for our losers interview. So please walk me through that match point game where you guys decided to play something like the Lee Sin and Kindred, where these champions are often seen kind of off meta for their respective roles.
일단 첫 번째 질문으로는 일단 3경기에서 일단 리신과 킨드레드라는 어떻게 보면 굉장히 좀 특이한 조합을 들고 오셨어요. 그래서 이 조합을 좀 짜게 된 배경에 대해서 좀 한번 설명해 주신다면요.
일단은 리신은 뽑을 때부터 좀 선픽으로 박아도 지금 괜찮은 티어라고 생각해서 자신 있게 뽑았던 것 같고, 아무래도 갈리오랑 조합하는 것이기 때문에 그런 정글 픽이 나오게 된 것 같습니다.
Yeah, I was really confident about the Lee Sin pick because I thought it was one of the top tier picks. But considering the fact that we're combining with Galio, so I think that was the reason we picked Kindred.
Very insightful information. And of course, this was your first time versing AGAL at the international stage. So do you think this team has that little spark behind them where something took you by surprise for this series to go like this?
이제 국제전에서 이제 AGL을 상대로 처음 이렇게 경기를 치러 보셨는데 AGAL의 좀 어떤 경기력이 좀 이렇게 하나생명에게 좀 부담으로 좀 다가오셨는지 궁금합니다.
일단은 AL 같은 경우에는 뭐 잘하는 팀이고 좀 단단하게 잘하는 팀이라는 걸 좀 잘 알고 있었고 AL이 잘하는 것과 별개로 좀 저희가 너무 참담한 그런 경기력을 보여줬기 때문에 지게 된 것 같습니다.
Yeah, I knew AGL was a very solid team beforehand. So that being said, we should have brought the best of us, but we couldn't. It was a very awful performance from us. So I think that was the reason we lost.
I see. Well, it's time to say goodbye to Zeus and HLE from the Esports World Cup, and back to you guys, Digon.
Thank you very much, Kitty, Maddox, and Cheryl, and In Chambers for all the insights that we had from both Zeus and Tarzan. It is AGAL outlasting Hanwha Life Esports in that game number 3. Many different angles to look at. The draft, the fights, the ults, many different ways, but in the end, all that matters is that AGAL survive and will move on to the semifinals.
Yeah, I was a little surprised from the draft, first of all. Hanwha Life picking Lee Sin into Jarvan, which is a pretty normal jungle matchup, although not something that Peanut's particularly known for. But then they ended up flexing the Lee Sin top lane, taking Kindred, which was certainly a curveball. Didn't go very well, though. Kindred didn't really get a lot of stacks, even though he had a pretty decent early game. And I'm not too sure about that Lee Sin top. It didn't seem too impactful. Zeus seems like a bit of a grasp merchant this series, you know, pulling it out on Yone last game instead of the lethal tempo, and then this game on Lee Sin versus, you know, something like Conqueror, which is pretty non-standard. It is really good for laning, but I was pretty surprised to see that.
I think it was